Hi guys, this is R-Star26 with Bitter Old Goons Gaming, coming at you tonight with part 4 of our playthrough of Pillars of Eternity. We left off part 3 having just arrived at the Gilded Vale, and we met a wizard. Tonight we're going to team up with that wizard and explore the Gilded Vale, as well as maybe head back up to get rid of that bear that gave us trouble in our last part. Thanks for joining, and feel free to leave some tips and comments, things like that. I'm always looking for new advice to help me through my playthrough. Let's get going. We left off having just leveled our characters as well too, so we're going to go ahead and spend those points before we head on out. And I think I'm going to just push through some more stealth and survival. And we also get to choose a new ranger ability, so we've got Swift Aim, reducing accuracy but increasing fire rate, reload time with ranged weapons, and attack rate with melee weapons. Marked prey designates a single target as prey, giving the ranger and animal companion a damage bonus against the target. Predator sense heightens the predatory instincts of the ranger's animal companion, giving them a damage bonus on any creature suffering a damage over effect time. And vicious aim. By lowering attack rate and reload rate, the ranger is able to make more careful aim, giving them increased accuracy and damage. So I think we're gonna use Swift Aim. And it looks like we've got some points we can spend here on Aloth. Looks like he's heavily vested into lore and mechanics, so we'll run with that theme. And we'll use that. Oh, we get to choose 2 level 2 spells. That's pretty cool. Confuse, stuck, burn, freeze, road, and shock damage reduction. Oops, we didn't want to do that. Busting wounds. Looks like wizards have a pretty big list of spells that they can go through here. Necrotic Lance. They have fire. Flame, rebounding ball of fire. I think we're going to go with Necrotic Lance. Having a hard time deciding here what I want to go with. We'll go with Necrotic Lance and Ray of Fire.
Ready when you are.
So where we left off, we had spoken with Aska here, and she had told us to go speak with the cook that we rescued here. So we've learned the recipe for a savory pie. So I wonder how we go ahead and cook. I don't know if we need a campfire or what. But I'll probably dedicate an entire episode to just figuring out the crafting and things like that. I think there's just some random conversation from villagers. We'll hold tab here and see if we can find some named people. Will likely be people we can actually interact with. So we got Selena Vertivo and Strom Blightblade. I'm gonna guess that we can interact with them. This is basically a vision of this Selena lying on her side and reaching into her backpack and repacking it. That was definitely interesting. Good joke from here. Maybe I'll read through these real quick so that you guys are all on the same page as me. I think it'd probably be best. So you see a group of men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. Carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. Noise comes from the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost amongst the trees. There is sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. That was certainly interesting. We'll head upstairs and just have a quick look at whether or not there's anything up there. It's another long story. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into his stomach for another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in 3 parts of the room, and with a terse nod, they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all 3 slump to the ground in an agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. So, I'm getting the impression that due to our illness, we can reach out to these souls, and here's that pooch there that is missing his master. Anyways, we can probably reach out to these souls and get their stories, so that's pretty neat. It's a little long-winded, all these stories, but I think it's going to be important to collect them all, so, well, bear with me while we kind of go through that. It looks like we've just recruited that pooch that's lost his master. I'm not too sure. I'm not really wanting to rob anybody here, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these things here. So likely, in the interest of keeping this interesting and moving forward, I'm not gonna record myself reading these books. I'll maybe do that on my own time, just so that we're kind of moving forward with the game and keeping things interesting for everybody. So what I want to do now is head out of this inn, and when we had stayed the night here, we had a vision of that animancer, and we got this compelling urge to go and see whether or not she was actually really dead. So we're going to head back to the tree with all the bodies hanging from it and see if we can't find that animancer. There she is.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes? No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be. Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay. What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder! Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no? Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though. Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found? Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed. A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Of course, dear.
That's about it.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Very
Just
interesting.
say the word.
17 and a half.
It's a bit much to swallow, but lots of good information, lots of story there. So, just want to have a look at our journal and see. We've got a whole bunch of quests here, so no side quests, but. We're just going through our quests here, so... Well, I'm not too sure what the darkened ones are, but... It looks like these quests maybe just haven't updated yet. But regardless, what I wanted to do was go and see if we can't kill that bear. He killed us a few solid times, and I want my revenge. And I think it may lead us to a quest, so... I'm not too sure if NPCs, combatants, respawn in these areas once you've cleared them, but looks like we've had a clear shot back up to the cave here, so... We're going to go ahead and enter.
Ready when you
I just
are.
wanted to have a look in his pack here and maybe have a few consumables. Before we enter combat.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Set our stag on him. Let's have a look at what kind of abilities he's got. Brilliant light, flames, missiles. I love me some missiles. Not much range on those spells.
Yeah? Ready when you are. You're mine.
How may I help? Ah, these ones are in for a walloping!
Oh, we did it.
Ready when you are.
We got him. And we do have some kind of soul here. Interesting. So this just explained the story of how he come into the cave and was killed by the bear. But we met his friend on the road, so I think we're gonna start with telling him that we've met his friend. So it looks like his friend deliberately sent him in there to die. So we're gonna go and find him and make him pay for what he did. Ooh, a great sword. Nice. So we got
Just say the word. Yeah?
So that's that. That's cool. I'm glad we were able to take that bear down. Now I want to head back to that ruin where that corpse was, right over here. No, sorry, right over here, and see if we can't climb that ruin now. Last time we couldn't climb it. I missed some kind of roll. I think we didn't have the stats that would allow us, but maybe with Aloth and our party, he may be able to get us up there. I don't know. we still can't get up there.
Ready when you are.
Well, we're gonna head back down to the Gilded Vale and continue our searches. Okay, so I think we were actually told to visit this place here at one point, so we'll come up here.
Hail and well met.
Oh, this lady must have known Kalisha. Oh, that was her sister. I suppose that we'll go find Ranga for her. I know Kalisha did us wrong, but that's not her sister's fault, so.
Yeah?
Oh, it looks like we got our first side quest. That's cool. So basically, if you weren't able to follow along,
Not a problem.
she's pregnant and she's worried that her child is going to be hollowborn. And so she wants us to find this Ranga because she's a midwife who apparently knows how to stop that from happening. So because Kalisha's dead, we've agreed to take on that task of going to find Ranga and get this potion that she needs.
Hail, traveler.
Oh, this is the soul that we found in the bear's cave. This is his friend. Ingrid, you unfaithful bag. Oh, apparently he was a woman beater. Oh dear. She's trying to bribe me. But justice is justice. I mean, he was responsible for his death. I think that they need to suffer their fates. Alright, I guess we're killing them. I'm not entirely sure that that was the correct choice, but we're gonna go with it.
Yeah?
What a minor ring of deflection, that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and equip that. Sure.
Yeah?
So that didn't end the way I wanted it to end, but it is what it is, I suppose.
Ready when you are.
Would have been nice to bring them to justice. There was a few options that were read it out, but got a smithy there, temple, and the road south, and then it appears as though we've maybe explored most of this place. I'm gonna head up to this, and I'm not too sure if we can explore these other places. Let's go to this house first. Maybe non-interactable or whatever. I guess we'll find that out. No, we can go in. We got a mage there. More soul stories. This woman has suffered some, well, classism, I suppose, form of racism against wizards. We're not going to turn to thievery just yet, so let's head up to that windmill. Uh-oh. So apparently the windmill operator is ripping everybody off. I wouldn't drink the ale. We'll go have a talk with this Swamer fella. And I guess if he doesn't want to accept that this Grumble's doing what he can, then we're going to have to beat him up a little bit.
Ready when you are.
And that is fine. Fine by me.
Not a problem.
Question is where are we going to find him? I'm going to guess we'll find him back at the Black Hound. But before we do that, we're going to head to the smithies here. Probably won't go on too much longer. We'll have explored most of Gilded Vale, and that's kind of what my goal was. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you all. It's a big smithy, holy smokes. He wants us to have a lookout for his wagon. Might as well do it. So that's good. I think before we peruse his goods, we're gonna get those supplies back. Before we do anything else, we're gonna go find that Swearin or whatever his name is. So I don't know. I'm not too sure if you can actually track a quest. Like, it doesn't look like I have any kind of quest tracking, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to be at the bar, so we'll go to the bar. Okay, maybe I was mistaken about that. I don't see him here. Perhaps he'll be in one of these other houses. I don't know. Let's go. We'll check this place out here first, I suppose. I don't even know that we can get into this place. Apparently not. We'll loot this, whatever this is. Head to this place right here. Doesn't look like we can go in there either. That's just a barn of some sort. Perhaps he's up here.
$17 and a half. No, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman. The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta. The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway. Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved. I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a radrick at first. Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. There'd be any number of radrick bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, radrick especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense. The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war. We blew him up.
Jeez.
Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
I guess he's going to join
Seems
us.
that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing. Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say Watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree. All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Excellent. We got
Ready when you
a
are.
member. Check out these ruins here before we shut her down for the evening. Praise the
I
sun.
haven't been in here for, must be 5, 6 years. Used to be real nice. Bright. Warm.
we'll find them. Alright, looks like we're exploring
Ready when you are.
A ruin. So I think that this is as good a place as any to shut it down. I didn't want to keep these parts of the series to more than maybe an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes tops, and I think we've exceeded that time for tonight. So this is where we're going to save the game, and we're going to hop off for the evening. Next time you all join us, we're going to be exploring this ruin and seeing if we can't give these priests the proper burial they deserve. Thanks for joining Bitter Old Goons Gaming does Pillars of Eternity tonight. If you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Thanks for joining, and have a great evening.